Find speaker cards at the back of the council chambers. We respectfully request that you fill the cards out completely and print as clearly as possible so that if the council does need to get in touch with you or the city manager or staff, they will have your contact information. As much as we appreciate your request to make comments before your 3 minutes begin, please understand your time begins when your name is announced. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. If you choose to ask a question during this time, any response by council will not extend your 3 minutes. When you approach the podium, you'll see 3 lights. The green light comes on when your time begins, the yellow light comes on when you have 30 seconds remaining, and the red light comes on when your time is up. We ask that you be considerate of the allotted time to allow other speakers to have their 3 minutes as well. Following this procedure will allow for a smooth and timely process for the meeting, and we do appreciate your cooperation. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter will be referred to the City Manager. Thank you.
Michael Reeves.
Vice Mayor Smith, Council, Camp, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with Mayor Parris that HUD laws.
Just a second. Mr. Reeves, can you take that microphone?
Vice Mayor Smith, staff, council, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with Mayor Parris that we should pursue the lawsuit that HUD has filed against the city. I have the complaint, I've read the complaint, and HUD makes some really dire comments about our city that we violate people's constitutional rights, that we're in violation of fair housing rights. And looking at the complaint, there's 3 people that are quoted in the complaint for 3 individuals. One lady was saying that she was harassed by city-funded investigator and local sheriff's deputies acting as agents of Lancaster, which is not correct. Both of those deputies represent LA County, and the investigators represented the Housing Authority of LA County. But my primary objection is settling with HUD is that, like the county and like Palmdale, if you settle with HUD, you will not be able to ask the landlord if he's renting to someone in Section 8. That seems to be their pattern. I mean, HUD does this across the country. They force cities to fill consent decrees. They force them to do things. I think that we should have the capacity to ask the landlord if he's renting to Section 8. We should not have to worry about the deputies taking care of the situation. We should not have to worry about the Section 8 people. If we have a problem in the neighborhood, like many people have gotten up here and talked about, that the neighborhood's going down, it's going crazy, the city can use the nuisance law against the landlord and ask him to clean up his act, or you're going to lose your $2,000 a month Section 8 housing allowance. And a lot of these people that own this property up here don't live here. They don't care. I care. I live here. And I don't want to give up that right to find out who owns the property and put the burden on the property owner, the landlord, to clean up his act. I think that would be beneficial not only to the tenants, and it would relieve law enforcement to do their job and not have to go out and have people feel like they're harassing them. So all power to Mayor Parris. Let's pursue the lawsuit, and let's not settle with HUD. Let's know who the landlords are and make the landlords responsible for their property. Thank you.
Thank you. Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin.
Vice Mayor Smith and honorable council members, I appreciate you taking the time to hear me this evening. My name is Curtis Martin. I am the program coordinator for the Department of Energy's Clean Cities programs in the northern LA County, Mono, and Inyo County areas. I have been trying to work with the city here for the last couple of years, trying to re-engage the city, if you will. In 1992, the Energy Policy Act spun off the Clean Cities program out of the Department of Energy in 1993. In 1994, Lancaster became the 15th designated Clean Cities Coalition in the United States. A number of years later, when the original equipment manufacturers stopped making alternative fuel vehicles, the city dropped out of the program. It was assumed by the Air District. About 4 years ago, I took over that program at the request of the Department of Energy. I recently was contacted by Mr. Neal out of the Public Works Department. The city had an interest in becoming involved with electric vehicle electrification infrastructure. They were looking for information on reports that I completed for the Department of Energy. Clean Cities is supported through its stakeholder base. And the Clean Cities program in the Antelope Valley is not represented, the city itself is not represented as a stakeholder within that coalition. I've talked to a number of lower-level city analysts who told me to come back when you have something for us. In other words, they were looking for programs that were funded or funding for programs. And Mr. Neal approached me. I came back to him with a project that allows the entire Antelope Valley to be electrified for EVs. The infrastructure in place in the Antelope Valley for not only the city, but also local business owners that wish to do so at absolutely no cost to them. The savings of probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million in infrastructure, planning, permitting, that the coalition was able to relieve the city of. I'm still having a lot of issues getting the city to formalize a relationship with the Antelope Valley Clean Cities Coalition. And being a non-agendized item, I wanted just to bring it to your attention and ask you to please address this amongst yourselves, because what the coalition brings to the table now is not what it was in 1994 when Antelope Valley initially joined. We are now the flagship technology distribution network for National Renewable Energy Laboratory and the Department of Energy. We've displaced over 2.5 billion gallons of petroleum. We're going to continue to do that here in the Antelope Valley. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Riziki, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that you haven't contacted either one of us or Robert, and if you're having issues, you can just call us and we can deal with it. I don't know the agency you represent, I've never met you, but I invite you to, come and engage us. We've done a lot of projects like this by just talking directly to people. So
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to, if you have any issue, please call us tomorrow.
Yeah, I've tried to get to several people in council and city government, but I keep getting stopped by the analyst level people that are
I would,
the box, so to speak.
that's very hard for me to believe, since you could call the city manager's office and get virtually anyone, anytime. So I'd be happy to talk to you tomorrow, as would Jason.
Absolutely. Appreciate that opportunity.
Thank you. Roxy Patterson.
Distinguished council, I am the comic relief, you might say, because it's time to think about love. Today is the day of love, and all of us probably may have significant others that we've left behind or sacrificed to be here at this council meeting. I think when we think about all the business of the city and we're trying to think about what's good for the citizens of Lancaster, we need to always integrate love back into that perception, because this God we trust would probably want us to think about love. After all, one of the greatest commandments that I believe in is loving your neighbor as yourself. Sometimes that love can overpower us. Sometimes the love of money gets in the way. So as I've heard all these wonderful things that we're trying to do for the city, all I'm here to say is don't forget about love. Let it not be the love of money or the greed of humanness, but let us look at our fellow man, no matter what they're wearing, what kind of job they have, and always keep that in our focus on what we do and to make sure we do it right. Meanwhile, I just want to tell you, is love all there is? Yes, love has a lot to do with it. So thank you for letting me just remind you of the day of love.
Thank you. This is for council agency comments. Does anybody have any comments? We have, our video guy needs to put the TV back on. There we go. Okay. Council agency comments. Anybody? closed session. So that being the case, then this meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, February 28th, 2012. Thank you. Good night.